It's muted. I knew it. Good evening. Sorry for the delay. Doing well. Got some Tibetan bowls. What is up? So I thought that would be a good little intro to this, maybe a fun little idea I had today. Like, why don't I do underground science live so it's like differentiated? But like, then I could like maybe casually research. Maybe it's way less attempting to be filling the time with things of particular, like progression, I guess. Cool. Yeah, cool. Glad to hear it. Just looking for some related images just to kind of throw in here and maybe not even talk about, just to include. Although this is actually like, it's kind of relevant to something. So I feel like given how this has played out, I should just build into put this over here, into some stones that are not shallograms. I need to add a source chat box. I figured out there's like a streamlined method to put a chat box here. Although it's probably gonna show things I don't want it to show. Like people like, oh, what followers? And like that kind of post. Probably some other things, but mostly that will be the most common thing. So I should display the chats, because I feel like it's hard to tell what's going on in the video sometimes when I'm like not reading the chats but responding to them. So what to do? I didn't really plan this. I've got a list of some topics that I've been looking at. Narmada Sheila, Dwarka Sheila, earthquakes, Hudson Canyon, and then I was reading this paper on Shatsky Rise, Hess and Ogen Rise and their relationships, implications for a connection between, and they were talking about different paths. A first path that goes Shatsky Rise through Papanin Ridge up this way, and then back over here to Hess Rise, and then a second one that goes through Ogen Seamounts here over to Hess Rise. So those are basically the like two different wave patterns. Yeah, it's because I didn't have this source in all of my scenes. I switched scenes. The first scene, I was like, "Oh, what's this?" So while I was like setting up the intro, I was like, "Wait, I was trying to figure out a way to do a countdown, so I could do like 5 minutes and do a countdown, so it's not like randomly. I don't just randomly start when it says soon. It seems like that would be cool to have, but I don't know how to do it exactly. I don't know what's up with this Google Earth now. I was looking over here. I was looking at Dammit Arcane region, where shallograms are from, which I've been doing a ridiculous quantity of videos. Not that. About. But, I mentioned in one of the shallogram zone episodes, the Narmada River Lingam stones that Mangalam jewelry vendor is sending me one of to check out. And until he told me about them, I didn't until he actually described them, it was my interpretation that they were just shaped. Like someone did this. And many of them are probably someone doing this out of at least some more like base stone from the river that didn't have the shape quite well enough, so people wanted to make it more precious, if you will, by doing that. So like there are, I'm sure, many that are not actually naturally that way, but apparently they do naturally form in lingam shapes, in these shapes in the river, And it's only in this river. Like, I don't know how to... These would be very difficult for me to tell, except for by a trusted vendor. That one is real and, like, unmodified. Like, this vendor tends to have authentic shallograms. I can literally tell the vendor by their hand. They tend to have authentic shallograms. So this is probably a naturally formed stone found in this river, the Narmada River, that is this river that then goes over here, 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 goes through this area. Maybe that's where they're more so found, is in this area. I don't know. But basically points at Gurnar and at where this storm discharged. And where I said the Deccan Traps was like emitted in that direction as part of the video. So it's quite curious that these stones are exactly opposite Gurnar like that. Like equal opposite. If there's some injection of energy into Gurnar, there will be like a opposite energy over here. So it definitely did something over this way, where it went, and it seems water based, whatever it did, but like with the Deccan Trap emissions as part of what was happening, but heavily like water going this way, that then for some particular reason made the stones like this. I don't really know much about them. Let's see what. These are probably from the river. They're wet still. I mean, maybe they look too perfect, but it looks like the whole area is different and is producing different varieties but the same outcome out of different materials. The Narmada Shwar Shivling, or Narmada Shivling Lingam, is a unique stone which is formed naturally and found in the Narmada riverbed in the state of Madhya Pradesh, India, in the village of Bakawan. Let's see where Bakawan is. Is it in this area? Oh, it's over here. I mean, it could be after passing through this area and then building over here. I really don't even know what to think of how exactly they're forming. How this is forming. Don't know what to think of it exactly. certainly related to the Doom Shape. That went this way, went to here, discharged into Grannar, opposite to Narmada. So it's related, makes Narmada Sheevelings, is formed by merely the flow and current of the water of the Narmada River, which may seem almost unbelievable when you see these Narmada river stones because of the perfect way it is formed into the egg-like elliptical lingam shape. The Narmada Shiva Lingam is found only in the part of the Narmada River which flows through Madhya Pradesh, and not in parts where the river flows through the state of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Almost like it's like out beyond a boundary that this system was influencing, and then these things formed. I wonder. There's usually like fractals. I don't see anything that's like interestingly shaped like it. Another thing that we frequently talk about is the eddies in North America. Let's see if I can. I really haven't looked at these in a while. It's kind of crazy how hard it is for me to find things. I'm like, Gujarat. Let's see. I also wanted to open this one. So here is where Dwarka Shila is formed or found, right, like here, I believe. This one obtained from the Gomti River in Dwarka, one of the 7 prehistoric cities named after Dwarka, with chakra wheel markings, and the chakra mark is the most distinguishing feature of these stones, and hence they are called Chakrankita Shila. Chakra Kita stone. I think that's Sheila. Indian art overwhelmingly prefers the iconic image, but some aniconism does occur in folk worship. Okay. But found in the Gomti River. Gujarat, probably. Yeah. So in this river that goes across here, across here, across here, across here. I don't know, it just seems to fade out there. I don't know if this is because over there. No idea. But effectively is where these chakras formed and had a ammonite shape of a shallogram. Chakras were an eddy, where basically current went out, ran into resistance over here. When the doom-shaped storm was really intense, like super ultra hurricane type storm was here, it was pushing a current this way that was running into material, so it couldn't get out. So it eddied by going back atop itself or below itself, which one or the other, and literally eddied in a way so that it created the full-blown ammonite shape of a shallogram with chakras, and then it even cut open the side over here by just applying like pressure here and then here until it basically reached out to where Dwarka Sheila are in that area. It's like its final push that's opposite the chakras, while current then went up this way and went out, but still the current was flowing this way into this area. So in both these locations there's significant elements of this like analysis that relate to these stones. So that's pretty crazy. Across on the back and the beak on the bird head, back of the head, beak, opposite sides of Gurnar are these two things going on. That's pretty interesting. Also interesting, Gurnar has, if I just search Damodar Kund, it's right there. But the Damodar Kund that is related to shallograms is over here. So there's oddly even like an ode to shallograms is in this I think a temple, I don't know, a lake that is sacred, a sacred lake. Yeah, Kund, it means lake. Damodar Kund over here, where shallograms originate. Interestingly, the shallograms I've received seem to be from like over here. Almost like they pass this boundary and then they go to the western world. Like the Aravelli trend relative to Gurnar as some energetic place that the shallograms are just tending to migrate past when they are then like online. I don't know, it's just a thought I had. A fun little thought. I don't know how true it is. I'm basing that on just a few pieces of information. It's just like, huh. But there's definitely something to the Aravelli trend and this doom-shaped storm traveling through here. The Aravelli trend is very old. Geologically, it's like 1 billion years. I don't know what has since happened in this region to like consider its I've looked at it as kind of like a sink where the hurricane storm doom shape interacted with it by applying pressure against it and like had to move past it like a mountain chain over here, that it's just swirling and its winds are running into it, so it's like slowing it down. It can't like move past it as easily, and then once it like gets past this location, I guess maybe its winds are more able to kind of squeeze by, and then it gets down here where it then can like expand because it doesn't have this air valley trend blocking the eddy from swirling. So there's definitely something important to the air valley trend. I keep saying it differently because I can't remember what exactly it is. Air valley. Air valley, I guess. That kind of makes sense what I just said, that it had restriction and then it got past it and the storm could expand. It makes me think of a supernova or something, where something is eddying, and it's running into resistance, and it gets past the resistance, and it just releases a large amount of energy explosively, because this was a storm unlike any other. That the Earth has known, so it seems. I love this freaking. Oh my god. There's so much stuff though. Like, so then Hudson Bay. I was trying to find those North America maps. I think if I go currents of Earth, yes, this one. North America. Somewhere. I guess I don't have any with an eddy over Hudson Bay, but an eddy like this, where the currents were over Hudson Bay, though. I was also thinking maybe there was a earlier time when the eddy was centered here, and it actually more so transitioned to the Hudson Bay as like the dominant eddy center, but at an earlier time. Perhaps it was centered at the Great Lakes. I think they were both coexisting, overlapping one another, but it might be that it like largely formed here and was shifting to Hudson Bay as like a new eddy center focal point of this eddy, but not without like still having an eddy happening here, so it didn't like really fully get rid of it in time before the Earth expanded and the flood waters retreated into the oceans that were newly formed from the expansion of the continents apart and the radial growth of the Earth. But so I was thinking Hudson Canyon I heard of. It's like, wow, that's immediately grabs my attention. Freaking, oh, it's out of New Jersey, Long Island. I I thought it was out of Hudson Bay. Not as I thought it was over here. I was like, whoa, there's a freaking canyon over here. So it's out of here. I guess it's this. This I've actually related to this eddy and to an eddy that was forming centered on the Finger Lakes generally. An even smaller one in like this area, and then a larger one here, like to here. Another eddy over here. Others like pseudo eddies around, but then a big eddy up here that was going like this. That reminds me the Shalagram story. Shalagram. I was reading something. It must have been the Wikipedia. I was kind of reading it closer again and trying to think about it in certain different ways that I thought maybe were somewhat plausibly fruitful. I don't know. In terms of this legend that is in Wikipedia, so is what it is. But King name is generally based off of these piranhas, and I've heard the story elsewhere. It generally is the same. There's some different names that I'm not sure what to make of certain things, but King named this had been cursed. Blah blah blah. Okay. Where is it? So basically, this guy, Shankashuta, I guess I'll just read it. A king named Vrishadavaja had been cursed by Surya to endure poverty due to his reluctance to worship any deity other than Shiva. To regain their lost prosperity, his grandsons, Dharma Java and Kusha Java, performed austerities to appease the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity. Pleased with the austerities, she granted them prosperity and blessed them by being born as their daughters. Accordingly, Lakshmi incarnated as Vedavati, the daughter of Kusa Java, and Tulasi, the daughter of Dharma Dvaja. So Lakshmi incarnated as daughters of Vedavati and Tulasi as the daughter of both of these people, I guess. Tulasi went to Badaraka Shrama to perform the austerities in order to gain Vishnu as her husband, but was informed by Brahma that she would not get Vishnu as her husband in that life and would have to marry the Danava demon named Shankashuta. In his previous birth, Shankashuta was Sridhama, a supreme devotee of Krishna, an incarnation of Vishnu, in Goloka, celestial abode of the Hindu god Krishna. He got the instructions from Krishna himself to be born as a Kanava. As a result, Shankashuta was virtuous and pious by nature and was devoted to Vishnu. He married Tulasi on the command of Brahma as per the rules of Gandharva marriage. After Shankashuta's marriage, the Danavas under his leadership waged a battle against their natural enemies, the Devas, in which they won due to merit of Shankashuta's virtue. The Devas were subsequently driven out of Dvarga by the victorious Danavas. Devas means shiny, exalted, heavenly being, divine being, anything of excellence. So Shankashudas waged a battle against the Devas, who are considered gods, basically, in which they won due to merit of Shankashuda's virtue. The Devas were subsequently driven out of Svarga by the victorious Danavas. Is the celestial abode of the Devas in Hinduism. Demoralized and defeated, the Devas approached Vishnu, who told them that Shankashuda was destined to be killed by Shiva. On being requested by the Devas, Shiva, along with his attendants, the Devas, waged a battle against the Danavas led by Shankashuda. However, neither side was able to outpower the other. An unembodied voice told Shiva that by the boon of Brahma, Shankashuda was invincible in combat as long as he wore his armor and his wife's chastity was not violated. Hence, Vishnu, assuming the form of an old Brahmin, asked Shankashuda for his armor while begging alms. Shankashuda donated his armor to him. When he was busy fighting with Shiva, Vishnu, wearing Shankashuda's armor, assumed the form of Shankashuda and cohabited with Tulasi, which is basically she touched his foot, I believe is the story. Thus Tulasi's chastity was broken and Shankashuda was killed by Shiva's Trishula, a trident, thereby relieving Sri Dhamma from the curse. At the moment of Shankashuda's death, Tulasi became suspicious that the man who was with her at that time was not Shankashuda. When she discovered that it was Vishnu who had deceived her, she cursed him to become a stone, as she believed that he had been motionless like a stone in accomplishing the death of his devotee, Shankashuda, and stealing her chastity when she was also his devotee. Vishnu consoled Tulasi by stating that it was the result of her austerities performed in the past in order to gain him as her husband, and that she would again become his wife upon casting off her body. Thus, Lakshmi cast off the body of Tulasi and assumed a new form, which became known by the name of Tulasi. The discarded body of Tulasi was transformed into the Gandaki River, and from her hair emerged the Tulasi shrub, which that one looks a lot like the one I just showed yesterday. Vishnu, on being cursed by Tulasi, assumed the form of a large rocky mountain known as Shalagram. On the banks of the Gandaki River were Vajrakita, a type of worm having teeth as strong as the Vajra, carved out various markings on his body. The stones carved by Vajrakita, which fall down from the surface of that mountain into the Gandaki River, came to be known as the Shaligrama Shilas. Okay. So I was thinking, when it said trident, Shankashuda was killed by Shiva's trident, basically, thereby relieving Shridama's curse. I don't know. I just had the thought, what if the Shankashuda has some parallels to like Hawaii, the sphere of Hawaii? I know. That was over here, formed under Australia, moved over here and over here. Although in the video I had to go up this way. But it moved to here and then fanned out to over here. And then the trident was going this way. But so was Hawaii. So maybe it was like cut by the trident. I was thinking like maybe there's some kind of like energetic coupling of Hawaii to some other region that like water, say, was like going from over in this area to basically go to over here. But Vishnu deceived Tulasi. So Tulasi basically redirected the current to somewhere else. And that current then led to the like changes, I guess, that allowed for Hawaii to be like broken apart and sent up this way to go to the North Pole and come back this way, broken apart in pieces. I don't know if I would call it killed right away in that way the story goes, where like the trident kills Hawaii, this trident. Like if Hawaii is like speared by this trident forming, I guess the trident effectively goes up maybe initially to the North Pole. So that once it hits the North Pole, then it's coming back from the North Pole, which was over here. This point, it hit here, which was here, rolled this way, which rolled over to here, and then it was launched out this way by the actual motions of this region away from over here, folding it out like a pinball paddle, shooting a sphere this way that then breaks apart in pieces in the process of everything, and its inner core is then like recombinable as a sphere in a absurdly crazy but cool way. And so maybe Vishnu, cursed to become the Shalagram mountain that then seeds Shalagrams. I mean, maybe this is not Buddha as much as Vishnu, unless there's a relationship between them. Like an area that was sapping current that was going to Hawaii, that for some reason was necessary to keep the balance there, and when it wasn't going there, Hawaii could no longer, like, maybe like over here, it was like applying a pressure. So there was basically Hawaii. It was like a large scale eddy that had some current applying a pressure, so that as it was rotating, it was running into resistance. But then when that current like went away, it was like over here. So then the eddy is not running into the resistance and able to expand into the open area as it passes. Kind of idea, maybe something of a similar nature where it just has like a blowout region because the pressure is no longer applying pressure to like one particular. It's like it's not balanced to the total surface. It's imbalanced where the pressure from that whole region was applying pressure into the sphere of Hawaii as it was moving. It kind of seems plausible that there would be something of that nature at play where shallograms formed, and then given that there's Damodar Kund over here, just makes me think like there's a relationship. There tends to be something more to things like that. Like what the... It's literally the third eye of a Buddha. Damodar Kund. Actually, Damodar Kund is the eye within the eye. If this is the third eye, Damodar Kund is the eye within the eye. Or whatever these are. And yet, there's one over here. It's such an important name. I don't think they would casually name this Damodar Kund and like steal it effectively. There's not anywhere else that, to my awareness, that is named this. Although maybe that's because this one gets all the attention, and maybe if I search like over here, because I pretty much have to search for Nepal. To even have it like preferentially care about that region. Okay, what else we got? I could do practically anything, I guess. This was less exciting. This was cool. Still don't really know exactly why the particular stones would happen. Why Dwarka Shill is here and Narmada Stone's here. This one's going out. That's one thing that's happening that's different. The current flow is leaving to the water, whereas over here it would be flowing basically uphill due to just the sheer amount of energy there that then was driving a current off this way. But it wouldn't have gone that way if it was just left alone. It would go back this way, driving it up that way. Whereas here, it was basically creating a downhill path that later on it would still go that way. damn. Only been going like 40 minutes. I was gonna do this earlier. I got so caught up on stuff. Not that it matters. I'm just kind of tired, I guess. So I'm like, oh crap. I'm only an hour in it, and I freaking took 15 minutes to even go to say a word. That's nice and easy. It's like a cheat, almost streaming, but not quite. I was trying to figure out ways to do stuff. None of these things seem to work. Here's some earthquakes. Let's check them out. 7 days. That's 4.5 plus. What the? I didn't mean to do that. I think it's already just populated then. I don't need to click anything. Okay. 6.8 in Japan on the 13th. 5 days ago now, I guess. Japan, Mexico. Mid-Atlantic Ridge over here. Solomon Islands, Japan. On the 14th, Fiji. Philippines. Ethiopia, well, what the? Japan, Iceland. I've been hearing things about Iceland that sound kind of what the? New Zealand. Definitely a lot of like hot spots in terms of like where major things happen in my research. Like even here, down here, that one. Oh wow. Oh shit. Whoa. Shiva Trident piece. The Trishula or whatever. Trisula, a divine symbol commonly used as one of the principal symbols in Hinduism. Derives from Trisula, meaning 3, sharp iron pin or stake. Whoa. Number of interpretations. They're commonly said to represent various trinities: creation, preservation, and destruction, past, present, and future, body, mind, and Atman. Whoa. Crazy. Just a huge list of trinities. According to the Shiva Purana, Shiva is Svayambhu, self-created, born of his volitions. He is described to bear a Trishula from the very beginning of creation. According to the Skanda Purana, Shiva employed the Trishula to behead Ganesha, who refused to allow him passage and visit the bathing Parvati. According to the Vishnu Purana, the sun god Surya is the sun as well as the solar deity, married Sanjna, Hindu goddess associated with clouds and the chief consort of Surya, mentioned in the Rig Veda. Married to the sun makes me think of like a binary star. I don't know how much that would possibly relate. The daughter of the divine architect Vishvakarma is a craftsman deity and the divine architect of the devas in contemporary Hinduism. Whoa. The blazing energy let's go back. Unable to bear his brilliance, Sanjna brought this issue to her father, who arranged for his energy to be reduced to 1/8 of its previous intensity. The blazing energy descended towards the ground used by Vishvakarma to create the Trishula for Shiva, the Sudarshana chakra for Vishnu, and palanquin for Karuba, god of wealth, god king of the semi-divine Yakshas, region of the north. Palanquin. What is a palanquin? Let's see if this goes. Oh yeah, good points. The head, I guess, is cut this way, although, interestingly, by the trident. Trident definitely cuts off the head of Ganesh. Oh, man. I mean, this way. Mid-Atlantic Triple Junction. Iserv. Bouvet. Oh, Azores. Oh man, G-plates. I have not looked at this in a long time. Wait, where is it? Oh my god. Let's see, Trident going this way, but then going across here. And then maybe up. Maybe current here was going out this way. So Trident had current running into that then went up and along it. And then reached it and just bent and went down and in this way maybe. And like across here. Up here. But to the triple junction. Wherever that is. I guess there. What was the relationship? I see. Shiva employed the Trishula to be... Could Shiva just be this like angel? In some angle of analysis, at least, maybe amongst many layers that all are kind of how this works. Like it really happens on some level, but also they're like personifications of things that are more like this. Like where Vishnu is something that takes energy from the Gandaki River that was going over this way. I don't see anything through here very well. Maybe Vishnu has something to do with the Australian Ammonite. Like it re-establishes some connection back specifically to the Ammonite and not down along Papua New Guinea, but instead around and in. From like up here. Kind of going this way and wrapping around and in, running into currents out here that are holding pressure, kind of like over here, coming out here, while the Trident goes up that way. Angle. Towards Japan. it's essentially like widening. So there's some aspect where these currents are going up this way, but then going over this way. Although it may also go like up this way. And there's some that went over here. I don't know. It seems like it had something to do with even like these kinds of lines, where it's just hard to say how the trident like got there to create these other layers throughout. I'm not completely sure if that's what like happened. in this case, it looks more like it's just kind of draining off of here. Maybe that actually points to what's going on with this trident thing. Was more like draining paths rather than like starting. I mean, it really starts here and fans out though. Where these kind of start wide and then kind of focal point to these current paths, it seems. I was also thinking like Hess-Rise, this is all done by 90 million according to this, but it starts around 145. This image is quite incredible. 128 to 121, 128 to 121. Like, this stuff is all happening approaching the time of Baja California, or Baja BC. Geologies, in theory, if that doesn't make sense. Pardon me. Clicking buttons, see what they do. Pulls up something I didn't mean it to pull up into the screen, and I'm like, oh. Let's see, let's go to conclusions. I haven't really looked at this data or anything. I just read the abstract and the intro. Hikurangi Plateau. Manihiki Plateau. Ontong Java. Oh, okay, let's stop here. Closest to samples from Victoria Seamount, closest to Shatsky's Shirshov Massif, has this value of this variable. These values are relatively closer to Shatsky Rise than to Ojin Rise Seamount 6 compositions. Data point plots consistently near the Ojin OJP? Is that Ontong Java Plateau? It must be. Oh, here's a overlay. Here we go. Hikurangi, Manihiki, Mangaya group. Louisville, Rarotonga, Nauru Basin. I forget why I know Nauru Basin. I think that's next to Ontong Java. Yeah. Nauru Basin. Ontong Java is this thing. Nauru, I believe, isn't here or there. Manihiki, Hikurangi, Louisville, which is this seamount chain. Hawaii, obviously. Shatsky Rise, Hess Rise. Mid-Pacific Mountains, which really goes this whole stretch. Mariana Trench over there. So they got, I guess HP is Hikurangi. I don't know. Let's just keep going though. Trachyites. Trachyites? I don't know. Trachytes from Seamount 6 have these values that are transitional between those of the isotopically more depleted, predominantly tholeiitic Shatsky basalts and the more radiogenic Hess-Rise site and of these trachyites and dredged Manihiki and Hikurangi alkalic rocks. Alkalic. Oh, I'm reading things. These isotope. I'm doing good besides words that are maybe understandable that I'm not doing good on. And I'm like, oh shit. Chemical engineer should know this one. And a certainty, not say it with any amount of testing the waters to see how it sounds. So Shatsky basalts and the transitional between Shatsky and the others. So Hess is, I guess, more like Manihiki and Hikurangi. These isotopic compositions also apply close to those of the older 80 to 65 million Louisville alkalic basalts. I could say alkaline. This calic just throws me off. That show affinity to a focal zone mantle. FOZO. Inferred to represent a common component in the source of some ocean island basalts in both Manihiki and Hikurangi plateaus. Have isotopic composition ranges that plot close or within the data fields for Ontong Java and Hikurangi plateaus, except for slightly higher lead values. Although the lower initial lead isotope ratios of these samples compared to ocean rise could be an artifact of a possible overcorrection due to alteration modified higher parent-daughter ratios, the lead isotopic composition is consistent with their more alteration-resistant values that are also more on Tongue Java Plateau like. Wow. It's crazy. I feel like someone who retired who's just gonna casually like playing at the game again, whatever it was they retired from. That's maybe not on his game, but still, he still got it. Like he's still Brett Favre. No, he can still throw better than I can. That's for damn sure. I don't care how much older he gets. He still can throw better than I can. But I was thinking about this earlier. So they're talking about Shatsky Rise here. I don't know, it's definitely Rusty. It's Rusty. Here's Papanin Ridge and then heading to Hess Rise. And then the second one that goes Ogen Seamount Path. It's more like that, so like two wave patterns. But the thing is, get this thing out so I can draw. Some aspect of what's going on is that this pen is not working. Oh, I saw the move. Everyone. Okay. Is that current is flowing this way, running into here, but generally flowing this way, and pushing boundaries over here, and then going like generally this way, like deflecting. And another current is going just basically another direction, running into this one and going that way. And so there's a boundary interaction where one of them is like going through this way and just continuing, where then it goes over there onto North America at the time while this was happening, and whereas the other one pushes into this current and like bends off it. I believe. Let's look at this a little closer. I might not have done that to right angles, but basically currents going. I must have these maps. Still. I must have them. I haven't looked at them. If they're awesome, and that'll be sweet. I hope they're good. Do I have? Oh, yes. Yes! Let's just go through some stuff. Oh. Maybe maybe I had it also going back. I guess I was thinking it was going this way. But there's also a current going across into North America. Some other stuff, not quite as... I mean, there's chakras at play there, but whatever. Chakra, okay, fine. Current flow that went this way. Over there. That then continued this way. Another one that went under, over top it. Continues this way, goes over here, continues this way, goes this way, goes this way, goes here, eddies, interacts with other currents, pushes this boundary, other currents over here, eddying here, pushing this boundary. Some other stuff going on. Some other stuff with the current going this way, around. More currents involved. So there's currents though going up that way. That are wrapping this way and back to Manihiki. Wrapping around here. Around here too, maybe. And then just going up this way. Pushing boundary. Deflecting in part. Pushing in here a little as it goes through that way. That was my interpretation in that image. It's been a while since I thought about this, and now I'm kind of like thinking about it like that's the issue, is I don't remember like the confidence level of something, things that I would like. It was really it's just different, I guess. Now I just feel like past my prime. People will one day know that's a thing in like a scientific world too. It just seems like it. Okay, that's all of that. I'm thinking something related to that stuff when I'm looking at this. There's probably important details with the Ontong Java. Like that there is. So what I was getting at is there are certain rocks they're finding associated with specifically radiogenic Hess-Rise site and dredged Manihiki Hikurangi alkalic rocks that not Shatsky rise, not Shatsky basalts, transition between the isotopically more depleted Shatsky basalts and then these other things. So there's this like discrepancy, and then these ones from the northern flank of Shatsky Rise plot close within the data fields of Ontong Java, Hikurangi Plateau, except for slightly higher lead. The lower initial lead isotope ratios of these samples compared to ocean rise could be an artifact. So compared to ocean rise, consistent with their values that are also more Ontong Java-like. So the more Ontong Java-like, I believe I'm reading this right, Shatsky Rise related stuff is more Ontong Java-like. Shatsky Rise, Ontong Java, Shatsky Rise, Ontong Java, Hikurangi Plateau, B. Hikurangi Plateau B, I assume, or basin, or the basin of the Hikurangi Plateau, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. It's gotta say somewhere. Hess Rise. I could probably do like this HPB. Hikurangi Plateau. Wait, let's go back. KK is Kronki Kwambeta. I've never heard of that. Singalu. Sounds not in the Pacific. I don't know. Whoa, types of basalt found. Low titanium rocks that are considered to be the most voluminous volcanic types in the Ontong Java Plateau. Oh, so Ontong Java Plateau, that variety rock, and then that variety rock, Singalu, I guess, is what those letters mean. So in short, there's current flow that's in the Ontong Java region, building it up, that's flowing along certain paths that we've found in the past that relate to specifically East Mariana Basin as tying to Ontong Java. I believe there's other places. But then over here, we're finding also Ontong Java-like features in terms of the geochemistry, I believe. Would be a good I believe that would be a good word to, yeah, geochemistry. So there's some associations. Let's just see if I can just go to conclusions real quick. It looks like there's a really long section of pretty good things that I just skipped, but isotopic similarity between the low lead sites from Hess Rise of tholiites from Hess Rise and Shatsky Rise are consistent with a common source. The seamounts, except for the Toronto Ridge, cannot be directly linked to Shatsky Rise. Presently available data do not allow us to rule out either cooperation Ocean Rise or North Flank Papanin Ridge connection between the two plateaus. So connection of these paths is not, I mean, it's literally visible. We can see it right now. Boom. It's right there. It's clearly there. We can also see it going across there. That one's a little subtler, but like we can still see it even like here. Like different energy flows, most prevalently visible there. I'm not sure why this is so like unaccepted. That it would be like, well, we'll be cautious. More sampling and data, particularly from North Flank and Papanen Ridge, are needed to better constrain the relationship with Shatsky Rise. The seamount volcanism could be an expression of source heterogeneity or geochemical evolution of the Shatsky-Hess mantle source with time. The isotopic compositional variation from depleted mantle something. What does that mean again? Mid-ocean ridge basalts, that's right. Not mantle. Isotopic compositional variation from depleted mid-ocean ridge basalt-like composition to focal zone mantle, whatever that means, or Ontong Java, like an interesting Ontong Java is called focal zone. Hilarious. Ontong Java like or focal zone like. What the fuck? Ubiquitous component in the sources of mid-ocean ridge basalt or oceanic island basalt. So it's deep mantle, I guess, sourced in some way. It's considered to be something more deep mantle. Could reflect the transition from the plume head to the plume tail. So they're just trying to figure out what's going on. In terms of a mantle plume based interpretation, which not relevant really. Ontong Java Plateau 120. Shatsky Rise 145. So that's interesting. It was before Ontong Java. I believe Ontong Java is like 120 to 90 kind of range. Ontong Java Plateau. Scholar papers. Why did not the Ontong 120 something, whatever, 122, let's see, 90. I don't know if that was for it though. Ontong Java Nui. Java Nui. This is my 5th copy. Hilarious. They don't do it like I do up in here. Show 5 copies. 5 copies of new evidence for Ontong Java Nui hypothesis. People like watching their football and shit. 5 copies of Ontong Java. Hilarious. Okay. So it's in the range of like 130 to I guess 90 at least. Let's see what this has. The formation. Volcanic rocks having compositions that match the low titanium Manihiki Plateau basalts are reported for the first time on Ontong Java, with new ages of 96 to 116 and 67 to 68. Bridge the temporal gap between Ontong Java and Hikurangi. One 120, 96 to 118. That's Hikurangi, but related enough. 125. I'm just trying to get a range to compare. 90. Okay, so they got Ontong Java over here and here. Okay, so they are covering pretty much the data that I was just looking at pretty well. Tejada. Maybe that exact paper. No, this one's much more recent. (2023), but the same author. That's good enough. They would be talking about the same general stuff. Okay, so we got all the stuff. We got Manihiki in this range. Mostly, if not entirely, looks like. Ontong Java in 2 separate ranges. Hikurangi between them, kind of. In terms of in the middle of the Ontong Java. Some over here, but it's kind of between. Immediately after. Like it just switched where the current flow is happening to directly adjacent, so that it effectively formed as one unit, but it was not sequentially. It was in sequence, I guess. Maybe, just based on this. And then Shatsky Rise, Hess Rise. Some young stuff, but mostly older. Cretaceous EOS. literally thought this was my article somehow on this website. The not so quiet Cretaceous quiet zone. Okay, real quick. Cretaceous quiet zone 126 to 84. How about Jurassic magnetic shit. What is it fucking called? Jurassic quiet zone. I don't think that's what I was looking for. Jurassic magnetic quiet zone. That's it. Magnetic quiet zone. So I guess it is the Jurassic quiet zone. Cretaceous supercron. Trying to find if anything overlaps this period more. These are all basically overlapping Ontong Java, but not Hess and Shatsky Rise. During the Jurassic quiet zone, geomagnetic reversals were frequent and the geomagnetic intensity was weak as shown by MMA. Pointed out that the Cretaceous normal supercron corresponded in time to the Cretaceous quiet zone of previous studies. Okay, Jurassic quiet zone is for sure a thing. The oldest part of the oceanic record, the Jurassic quiet zone, occurs prior to 157 million pre-M29 crons, as the magnetic lineaments are called and labeled, and stands out as a unique period in magnetic field behavior, unlike the Cretaceous normal supercron, which is a well-defined prolonged period of almost single polarity, i.e. no reversals with strong field intensity. The Jurassic quiet zone appears starkly different in contrast with the high field intensity of the Cretaceous normal supercron, bracketed by low reversal rates entering and leaving the supercron. The Jurassic quiet zone has low field intensity and high reversal rate, while field intensity increases and reversal rate decreases exiting the period. Although the anomalously low field intensity during the Jurassic quiet zone is well documented by paleointensity data and appears to be the weakest field intensity of the past 400 million years, the existence of field reversals during the Jurassic quiet zone is still under debate. according to this paper at the time of writing. Most recent Oxfordian Calovian magnetostratigraphy documents the terrestrial reversal record from M28 to M39 and confirms multiple reversals within the Jurassic Quiet Zone. Deep toe magnetic data from Japanese magnetic lineation set in the Western Pacific Jurassic Quiet Zone crust have been interpreted as a continuous record of magnetic reversals extending back to M44. However, Pacific Jurassic Quiet Zone studies have focused on a single spreading center so that regional and global implications are unclear. Okay, I'm just trying to get a range. The youngest end of the Jurassic Quiet Zone is 157. So that's before Shatsky Rise. Wherever that paper was. Basically like here, whereas the Cretaceous normal superchron is basically during these ones. That's why I was looking to see if there's a overlap with the Shatsky-Hess rise. There is not. Meaning there's something more to it. Not that that would have like revealed anything particularly conclusive if it overlapped besides some relationship. In terms of what that exactly meant, I don't know. But it didn't anyway. I think I'm gonna stop here. In a few minutes. Probably slow down, not talk about anything else at least. What was I saying? Covered litter. Forget why I was looking at that. It was in here somewhere. I didn't even have. I had every opportunity to like delay and make the first episode more prepared. Once I had the idea, oh, I should do that. Like the first Underground Science Live could have been with 5 discoveries ready. Let's fucking go. Just, at least I got some shit to talk about. Feel more ready. I don't know if I'll find anything on the fly, but I figured let's just chill. Maybe I can do episodes when I make finds on here about the finds, I guess, if I were to do this enough. To make Underground Science episodes again, I don't know. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Chat's kinda hard to read there with other text. That's alright. It's decipherable. And if someone says some shit, it's also would make it less apparent and glaring on the screen, I guess. Although I won't always have text there. Unless I have the new evidence for the Entong Java Nui hypothesis open. Let's see. Maybe I can go scholar. I'm also just kind of like, what do I look for? Major reconstructions or something. Global reconstructions. Geology. I forget what the term is. Reorganization, maybe? Yes. Thinking maybe this would mention some other events previously. Introductions. Long periods of relatively uniform plate motion are punctuated by short intervals of rapid change, evident in Kingston plate motion paths, recorded by fracture zones, and hotspot trails. Abrupt changes in the speed and or direction of plate motion are associated with changes in the orientation. I'll just do the thing. Yes, I did. Or location of plate boundaries. The forces acting on the continental margins, which are sensitive to plate margin processes in terms of the geochemical signature of magmatism, the vertical motion of basins and movement at major fault zones, can also record evidence for major plate reorganization. Okay. 50 million event that's remains disputed apparently. Not seeing anything before 100 in particular. Could just kind of say geology, Jurassic, Pacific, some generic things. Still brings up the quiet zone. I'm gonna click that one too then. Understanding the marine magnetic anomaly record is critical for constructing realistic geodynamo models of global geomagnetic field, polarity reversal mechanisms, and long-term geomagnetic field behavior, and just anything geology related. One of the least understood portions of the marine magnetic anomaly record is also the oldest part of the record, the Jurassic Quiet Zone. So everything that we see begins with the Jurassic Quiet Zone. That's interesting. Where anomalies become weak and difficult to correlate. Almost like it was just beginning the process of like expansion that was adding the new layer at the time. It didn't start until later, when the pressure built up under all the continents, and only then did it have enough pressure to begin to actually cut the Earth apart and create new oceans between. So it seems the Jurassic Quiet Zone is when that first started happening, and in that time, at least ignoring like the Mediterranean, I guess, and the Tethys. So it's really not when it started, it's just when it started in a different scale that was maybe like different, like almost like a chain reactions. It wasn't stable in some intermediary stage. So it went through a new transition where like the Tethys Ocean was unformed, if you will. And then basalt became the component of like the space between everything. As the Earth expanded. Where anomalies become weak and difficult to correlate, the reason for the existence of the Jurassic Quiet Zone is unclear. Oh, because and this is interesting. Plate tectonics doesn't believe that the beginning of the ocean record is relevant. It's just what it is the last remnants of a chain of remnants. It's not the beginning of some process that's like documented. So it literally is unfathomable that this Jurassic Quiet Zone is occurring at a time when the Earth was just beginning to form oceanic crust in the Pacific. And there was no pre-crust that it's like interpreting to have existed. It's basically, it just shoves a bunch of so-called plates that are theorized to have existed under the continents, so that the billions of years of ocean floors have recycled, so that what we see now is just this chain of ocean floors being created, but that's not what happened. The Earth expanded to a new radius and created newly formed ocean beds that then water retreated into because it was expanded by the flood itself. So then it would make a little more sense that it was weak and difficult to correlate when it was just kind of getting started. Whatever, like, system process was being more able to be imprinted into the ocean floor was kind of just engine starting. So we're seeing the engine start, but it's just kind of getting going, warming up, waking up in the morning. Continental magnetostratigraphic studies have suggested that the Jurassic Quiet Zone is a period of rapid polarity reversal of low field intensity, or both. We show results of a deep toe survey of Pacific Jurassic crust that confirms the existence of magnetic anomalies within the Jurassic Quiet Zone. We tie oceanic drilling program hole into the record and show that seafloor spreading magnetic anomalies are present around the hole and extend to 107 million year old crust. We find a rise in reversal rate with increasing age, with reversal rates over 10 reversals per million years at 160 million and 167 million. The Jurassic Quiet Zone thus appears to be a combination of low amplitude magnetic anomalies combined with rapid field fluctuations, which could be due to either intensity or polarity changes. And some supplemental data for some reason. Okay. Okay. I can't finish in one night. I guess it's time to go. See y'all in the next one. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of awesomeness. Okay, enjoy your day. Thanks for hanging. As always, thanks, Gary. Awesome to see you. Peace out. Well, pseudo see you, I guess. Peace out.